What's up, brewskis? My name is Marco Dupa, and with me, as always, the great and powerful Adam Obesius Rodriguez.
Yeah, buddy.
Tonight's brew is a special winter ale. We are now in the spirit of these sort of things, the spirit for these spirits. This is the nice or nice Chouffe. If anybody actually knows how to pronounce it, please leave a comment, because we looked up a bunch of videos and everybody pronounced it differently.
Yeah.
So we're going with nice for now. Or nice.
Nice.
Nice. Nice Chouffe. If you guys are familiar with the Le Chouffe, then you know what we're about to crack into. What's on tap for tonight? Well, we got some catching up to do. So we skipped last week for various reasons.
I had a cold.
And my car had a cold.
It's true. Yeah.
So
all struggling. It's fine.
But we're back now. So
Yes.
Let's get into the big headlines of the week. First and foremost, IGN has released their top 100 PlayStation games of all time, and two Sony heads right here. We're going to go through it, and we're going to decide if IGN got it right.
Mm-hmm.
What else we got?
Speaking of getting it right, I happen to be of the idea that getting a beer right has to do with having it fresh off a keg.
That's right.
On draft. However, apparently we're in the minority now because draft beers have been on a decline, according to Bon Appetit.
Bon Appetit.
So we're going to get into that.
And last, and surely not least, if you thought
The allegations were over.
boy, howdy, they're still rocking and rolling, and they have finally come for the king, the real king of this rap thing. Jay-Z has been accused of some pretty heinous stuff. Sorry, I don't mean to make light of the accusations, so we're laughing about it, but it's pretty messed up stuff.
Yeah.
And we're just going to talk about that as much as we can.
Yes.
And the perception of it, and in the same vein of how we discussed the Diddy accusations,
Which we made the assertion that others would also be wrapped in on this.
wrapped. And so here we are. It seems the first
We are unfortunately right.
The first domino has fallen, and kind of a big one,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
You would think that it would be like Mace first, or like,
Leave Mace out of this.
I know. Mace is doing so well right now.
Yeah.
So we're going to get into all that. But before we do anything, we got to crack open these brewskis. So let's get right into it. This is episode 445 of the One Beer In podcast. Yeah. In our new branded glassware.
Hell yeah.
Be careful.
Lost to be found.
Ooh.
By someone to save you when you're down. Yes, I'm bored when it's bright out. So bored when it's bright out. 4 to 5 a.m. takes me to a place where I fit in. Yes,
That's quite nice. I'm glad I can smell now.
I will say that head dissipated pretty quickly. I
Yeah.
was surprised about that.
Oh, maybe if it was on draft, it wouldn't be the case. But we'll get into that later.
That we will.
Cheers.
All right. Nice. Okay, this is episode 444, One Beer In Podcast. I am Marco. That is Adam. So let's get into it. I don't know why I keep repeating the phrases. You want to tell the people a little bit about what we're drinking tonight?
I would love to.
So
Actually, okay, yeah, there's a cold read on the bottle. This is the nice Chouffe Belgian dark beer brewed with spices, which include orange peel and thyme. The cold read goes as follows. When the little animals in fairyland hibernate, the Chouffe gnomes love to gather in their cottage. By the gentle firelight, they spend long evenings telling the best Ardennes stories while enjoying a delicious, nice Chouffe.
Nice.
Smooth with spicy notes of thyme and orange peel, this dark beer links both hearts and atmospheres, making even the coldest winters joyful. Imported by Duval Mourtgat, USA. And from the Brasserie Chouffe, from Chouffe, Belgium, 10% ABV.
And there we go. All right. Let's do it. IGN. Top 100 PlayStation games of all time.
Yeah.
Seems weird for them to have done this list now. But love a good list. Love a good listicle. So
Well,
discuss.
I will say it was posted November 25th.
Oh, the 30th anniversary.
Yes, but then was actually updated December 3rd. So apparently they've shifted a couple things around.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
But yes.
Never mind. Makes sense. Sorry, IGN.
Actually makes perfect sense.
I'm sure there's going to be some stuff on this list that we disagree with that I can come back and be like, nah, never mind. Fuck you, IGN.
Yeah.
But for now.
Grumble. Okay.
So
All right. Shall we just run through the list?
let's do it.
Ape Escape, number 100. Crash Team Racing, number
Interesting.
99. Yeah. Okay. Spyro 2, 98. Tearaway. I don't know if you ever heard of that one, but that was actually pretty big on the Vita.
Yeah. Should we go through all 100? I don't know if this is going to.
It's going to be a lot.
This is
yeah.
going to take a long time.
Yeah.
Deathloop already
at
made the list.
96. Yeah. Jack 2 at 95. Loco Roco. I love Loco Roco. 93's Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Deserves to be up there. Luminous at 92. Siphon Filter at 91. Wow. Pretty low. Ni no Kuni, number 90. How about we go to the top 50? You think that's
Let's do that.
reasonable for listeners? If you want to see the full list, go ahead and check it out. IGN.com,
Whoa,
obviously.
Stop for a second. Go back. They have Metal Gear Solid at 59. Metal Gear Solid 2
at 59. Yeah, that's pretty wild. Pretty wild.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So we're gonna start 50. Let's start at 50.
Let's start at 50.
GTA 3. Yeah. Final Fantasy Tactics. A lot of people love that one. I was never able to get into it.
Shout out to Tyler. He told me that is his favorite Final Fantasy game ever.
Wow.
He said it's the best one. He came at me at work and he was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Well,
You like Final Fantasy, bro?"
We were talking about Rebirth." And he's like, "Well, I mean, it's no Final Fantasy Tactics." And I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
What'd you just say to me?
He's like, "Final Fantasy Tactics, the best Final Fantasy game ever made."
People love it. I don't know. I was never able to wrap around my little pea brain
The tactics
to the tactics of it. But I'm not a tactics game enjoyer personally. But I've heard good things. Anyway, 48 Demon Souls. Yeah, I wonder if they mean the remake or the original. I don't know. It's not clear.
I think it's just the game because
Okay.
they make note of it at that last
At the end,
sentence.
yeah. All right. God of War 2 at 47. Chrono Cross at 46. Peace Walker at 45.
So PSP games are included
Yes, apparently.
and Vita games and all that.
And Vita, yeah. Guitar Hero 3 for 44. That's pretty hot. I mean, I can't really talk because I love Guitar Hero, but
yeah,
I mean, I'm kind of surprised. Wipeout XL at 43. Time Splitters 2. Wow, 42. Haven't heard that name in years. Titanfall 2
hell
at 41.
yeah. Titanfall.
Yeah.
That's really high.
It is. I mean, it deserves it.
Yeah.
GTA Vice City at 40. Astrobot 39.
That's
wow.
crazy.
Wow.
That's some real recency bias right there.
Yeah. I need to give it a little more time to bake for me to make that assertion. But I did love the game. It is a fantastic game. The original Tomb Raider at 38. Disagree. Go back and play that game. It sucks.
Yeah.
No disrespect. 37 Uncharted 4.
Okay.
36 Nier Automata. 35 is Burnout 3
For the PS2.
on the PS2. Wow, Dishonored 2 at 34. Surprising. I never think of Dishonored 2 as a PlayStation game. I always think of it as an Xbox game.
I don't think of Dishonored at all.
Okay, well, we'll move on. Number 33 is Okami. 32 is Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
31, Final Fantasy X, of course, classic. Number 30, Suikoden 2. I have to tell you, I went back and played this game Actually, I think on my Vita. I downloaded the original PlayStation game on the Vita, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
Way ahead of its time.
Top 30.
Yeah, I think so, actually. I didn't get to beat it, but it was a really good time when I was playing it. The OG Resident Evil in 29.
I'm going to say this right now, just seeing that deserves to be top 20 or top 15.
The OG Resident Evil?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean...
all of the innovation, all the legacy, the originality.
Yeah.
I'm off rip. I'm like 29 is way too low. I think it's top 15. So I'm very interested to see what's rounding out the top of this list.
And obviously we haven't seen the ones above 50.
Yeah.
But if they haven't already listed it, I think they're going to put Resident Evil 2 above the original.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That'd be my guess.
If that's the case, I can rock with that.
Yeah. I think it's a better game, but obviously derivative off of itself. Mass Effect 2 at number 28. Tekken 3 at 27. That was my favorite Tekken forever. Ragnarok at 26.
I think some people have a problem with that. Just outside of the top 25, Ragnarok. I mean, I saw a lot of people that said that Ragnarok was just a retread of the God of War remake or reboot.
Yeah. What do they call it? Requel.
Requel? Yeah, requel.
Yeah. I did see a lot of discourse about people saying they didn't like Ragnarok as much as the requel.
Yeah.
Which surprises me. I disagree, but go off, King. 25 Persona 5 Royal. Yes. Yes. One of the best RPGs of all time. Point blank period. Fight with yourself. Resident Evil 4 at number 24.
And it's 2023, so it's the remake.
The remake. Okay, I mean...
all right.
See, this is where it gets complicated.
Well, and now I'm thinking they're going to put the remake
of
higher.
2?
Yeah. Because I've seen a lot of people say that that's one of the best games ever made.
Yeah. I could see that. But that's what I was going to say is like that's where this gets complicated because it's like, how are we basing our judgments here? Like, is it on, like you were saying, the impact it had when it first came out? Is it, how well it holds up? Is it how influential it was?
Right, because it appears to be just straight quality of the game.
Yeah.
Because you would think that the OG would be, they wouldn't even put the remake on the list if it was like legacy,
right,
and innovation and all that stuff.
If that outweighed the merits of like playability.
Yeah.
Okay. 23, GTA San Andreas. I like Vice City better, personally.
I disagree.
Shut up. I don't want to hear it. 22 is Portal 2. Yeah, great game. 21, COD 4 Modern Warfare.
Yeah.
Another game I don't even think about in PlayStation terms, but
that's true. I do think about that in Xbox terms.
Yeah, but it did come out for the platform, so I guess that still counts.
All right, top 20. Here we go.
Top 20. Silent Hill 2.
And that appears to be
the original.
The OG, yeah,
the original. Wow. Okay. Number 19, the original Dark Souls.
Okay.
This would make sense. Number 18, Gran Turismo 3 A-Spec, which is the PS2. Yes, the PS2 game.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a big one. Persona 4 Golden.
That's okay. I mean, all right. Okay.
I disagree. I mind you, I've only played like maybe 10 to 12 hours of Golden on my Vita. I mean, 5 Royal is leaps and bounds better.
Do you see that first sentence?
Oh.
Yeah. So they're like, not only is it top 20 of all time, it's hands down the best Vita game ever made.
Yeah. Now, I will agree with this assertion that for many it says, quote, for many in the West, their first experience for the beloved Japanese RPG was Persona 4 Golden, which is true. A lot of people got into Persona through Golden because it was, for some reason, like a big hit in America. Not me.
Was it a PC game?
Not me. They ported it to PC eventually, but it was Vita only for a bit. Then it got into PC, and now it's available.
I don't mean Golden specifically. I mean
everywhere.
Persona.
No, I think it's always been a PlayStation thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think of this game that my neighbor was playing when I was like 11, and it was weirdly perverted, like Persona.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. I'm not gonna be able
It's
to
probably
pick
on
it now.
Newgrounds, like a Flash game.
I don't know. It wasn't a Flash game.
It's a dating sim.
It did look like a dating sim
Yeah.
though, and I was like, hey man, just go outside.
Yeah. Touch grass.
Yeah. He was older than me too. It's kind of pathetic.
It's okay. It's all right. We get there.
Unless he listens.
We-
I take that.
in which case, you did
wasn't
great.
pathetic at all.
You've grown up.
He changed my perspective on video games.
There you go. We need innovators in our lives. But yeah, I disagree with Persona 4 Golden being number 17.
Okay.
Number 16, Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Yes, one of the best games of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Number 15, let's go. Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
You know, I've seen a lot of discourse about this game too. A lot of people don't like the complexity of like having to eat stuff, of having to switch up your camouflage.
Well, they're dumb.
Yeah,
because those things made that game
it's really cool.
interesting,
Yeah.
and they weren't. Sometimes games will add these mechanics and, like, okay, San Andreas, for instance.
Oh yeah.
Or Red Dead. Red Dead's a better example because Red Dead is more recent, and you would think that them putting all these little nuances in the game,
Yeah.
you don't actually have to do any of that stuff. You could just play the game and use the food as health, and as long as, and I think as long as you can like go to a hotel, go to sleep, and then you'll be back up. If you can make a camp in the middle of wherever you're riding,
yeah.
and then you'll be back up at full health, and you can eat food and stuff like that. But like, you don't have to maintain yourself in the game. It just makes it more fun. But in this game, a PlayStation 2 game, you did have to do this stuff to get through the game.
And you had to have like specific like medical items to deal with specific medical injuries.
Yeah.
I remember needing like the burn cream or whatever.
Yep.
If you got burnt, splints and stuff if you broke a bone.
And if you
That was
ran in
cool.
a circle really, really fast
You
for a
barf.
long time, you threw up. Dude, listen.
Did you see? I never knew this part, but apparently, you know how you can go into the menu and like see the outline of your body and like see if you're injured or whatnot. If you spin that around enough, he barfs too. when you get out of the menu.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's like a little Easter egg.
I just got the collection.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I'm going to go back and play all of them.
Yes. I've been wanting to do that as well.
This is fresh on my mind as I was watching a playthrough on PlayStation, or Jesus Christ. A playthrough on YouTube of the OG game. And I was like, yep.
We got to go back.
Yeah.
Shadow Moses Island.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Number 14, Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
another
Yeah.
classic, another all-timer.
No arguments there.
No. Number 13, Elden Ring.
That's okay.
Yeah, I mean, for a lot of people, this is like the best game that's come out in the last 10 years. So
Yeah.
I get it.
I feel like there's going to be a lot more recency. Well, and the thing is, like, they can't all be PlayStation 2 games on this list.
Sure.
Like, I get some of them, a lot of them probably are going to be, like, I'm sure Last of Us is pretty high.
It's gotta be.
Red Dead's got to be pretty high.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
okay. All right. I'm not going to trip.
Okay.
And there it
Speak
goes.
of the devil. Number 12, Last of Us Part 2. Yeah. I think it's a recent masterpiece.
Yeah.
There you go. Number 11, Resident Evil 2 Remake. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, incredible looking and playing game, so can't disagree there. Number 10, Baldur's Gate 3. Another one that people are saying it's like a modern masterpiece.
Yeah. So that another, I haven't played it yet, but from everything that I've heard, for all intents and purposes, that's makes sense.
Yeah.
Cracking the top 10 though,
That's big time.
even still with all of
time.
the good press, that's
Yeah.
that's big
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
That's big time.
Another game I've only like dipped a toe into, but it is incredible for what it is. Number 9, GTA 5 / online. So they bundled it all together.
Yeah, I'm surprised. That seems kind of low. I thought it'd be top 5.
Yeah. I mean, it was it was an entry into an already revolutionary franchise that revolutionized things again with its online mode.
Yeah.
And switching characters and stuff. A lot of stuff that we saw, later on down the line in other games, replicated. It deserves it. Number 8, Uncharted 2, Among Thieves.
Uncharted 2.
A lot of people's favorite Uncharted game.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I played them so close together because I wanted to play 4, so I got the collection.
Right. I remember that. Yeah, you rushed through the whole franchise.
Yeah, so they all kind of felt like one game to me. So, okay.
That's fair. Yeah.
I can get that. That's the one with the train.
Yep.
Yeah, it's probably the best one.
Yeah.
I mean, that mission is just doing that is really fucking cool.
Yeah. The only thing that comes close to that is in 3 with the airplane scene.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this is very, very deserved.
There
you go. Number 7, Red Dead Redemption 2. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No arguments there.
I mean, just reading through this list, it's like we've had a lot of really good games in the past 15 years.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Number 6, the OG Final Fantasy 7.
I mean, I would argue it's the greatest PlayStation game ever made. So for it to be top 6, I think it should be top 5. Definitely.
Yeah. I'll agree with that. Until we see what the top 5 actually are.
I have what I think is the actual greatest. Do you have one? Before we go through the top 5.
Okay, greatest PlayStation game of all time. I mean, I lean towards Metal Gear Solid.
You said it.
Sorry, I lean towards Metal Gear Solid.
That's what I think.
If I were to think of one game that is iconic as a quote PlayStation game that was influential, that you can still go back and it holds up to a certain degree.
Yeah.
And was ahead of its time, and it has all those markers for me personally.
Yeah.
We'll see though. Number 5, the original Last of Us. Yeah. 4, Shadow of the Colossus. Interesting.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, great game. Yeah.
And innovative as well as original, as well as deeply sad.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'd probably switch Shadow of the Colossus and Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
And be happy with that.
Yeah. It's definitely a like a forebearer of the artsy fartsy video games.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, Bloodborne.
Yeah.
Bloodborne.
Yeah. If it wasn't in the top 50, there's no way it was lower than 50.
Yeah.
So it had to be this high.
I will say it's my favorite Souls-like game. It's the one that I've played the most, and it's the most, I think, accessible out of all of them, because it's kind of linear in a good way, and it feels more like an action game than a lot of the slower ones. I dig it. Number 2, God of War Remake. Requel. The requel. Yeah.
Okay.
It definitely was a title shift in the modern PlayStation. So, I mean, for me, I think it's a little too high for me. And I think I only say that because it was relatively recent.
Yeah.
I would like to give it a full 10 years before I look back and go, yeah, that was one of the best.
Yeah.
But objectively, it is one of the best PlayStation games of all time.
Yeah, two those. That's
two's a lot.
That's pretty high.
Two's a lot.
That's pretty high.
Top 5, I would definitely say, though. And number 1.
It's got to be
Metal Gear Solid.
There it is.
My man.
There it is. You got to do it.
My man.
You got to do it.
Yeah. Agreed.
No, it really is. I mean, everything that you were saying and more. I mean, I'm watching this this playthrough and I'm like,
Meryl.
This game is it's just so well done. The stuff that you do. I mean, we were playing when you're playing the game originally, and some of the stuff that you have to do, it's just like, wow, that's so cool that. But when you look back on it, I don't know, 20, 25 years on.
Came out, what, 98? Yeah, 98.
So when you look back on it now, you don't do shit that they did in that game in games that are coming out now.
Yeah.
Like the one mission I'm thinking of is when you're in the jail cell and you have multiple ways to get out.
Yeah.
And if you don't do anything, you're just sitting there
Right.
until you
You're
figure
just
out how to
stuck.
get out of there.
Yeah.
And there's, you can
Or finding Meryl's Kodak
or
number
on the back of
you're just stuck if you don't figure it out.
Yeah, until somebody finally you get a real good portion into the game before they're like, you didn't do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or obviously the most famous, the Psycho Mantis boss
Sure.
level. So the stuff that Kojima was doing, or what he was thinking of, and I've been watching this video of all the stuff that he wanted to do that he couldn't.
Yeah.
And it's narrated by David Hayter,
Uh-huh.
the guy who voices Solid Snake. And it's really, really interesting, like the kind of weirdo shit that he wanted to put in the game. Some of the stuff that he wanted to do, like he wanted Metal Gear Solid 2 to be 2 games like basically going at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And like there would be like a cut screen of like, when Snake is doing stuff off camera and you're riding and you're accomplishing missions and then you meet up with him at some point, you would be able to see that stuff and play that stuff. You'd be like cutting back and forth and like
parallel storylines.
Yeah, but the PlayStation 2 just wasn't powerful enough.
They're like, no, we're not going to do that.
But yeah. So no arguments there. I mean, number one, yeah.
Agreed.
I think if it was literally anything else, I'd be pretty pissed. Actually,
Yeah.
Like if Last of Us ended up being number one or Red Dead, I'd be fucking.
Yeah,
mad.
no. It is the one that you think of, like knee jerk, at least from our generation.
Now here's a question, because we talk about this kind of stuff a lot.
Yeah.
Where a thing could be considered great in one category. Okay, so like the horror movies list that we did. A movie being considered one of the greatest horror movies of all time, but then being higher on a list of just pure movies. Do you think that maybe you would put Red Dead 2, Last of Us, Uncharted 2 higher on a pure games list? Or would Metal Gear Solid still top the list? It's definitely the best PlayStation game of all time. Is it the
Yeah.
greatest video game ever made?
If we divorce it from PlayStation, I think it's a different conversation.
Yeah.
Because I do think it's synonymous with PlayStation in a way that makes it the easy answer for number one for this list.
Yeah.
Now, talking best games of all time, I think that's tough. That's tough. I would have to consider those other games based on how impressive they are on face value.
Yeah.
Not for their time and place, like something like Red Dead 2. I think is just like a high watermark for what you can do for an open world game.
Yeah.
And I would be tempted to weigh that heavier on a general best game of all time list.
Yeah. I mean, the more that I think about Red Dead 2, for instance, the more I think like, is that just like a top 10 video game ever made? Probably.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, between the storytelling, between the open world, like the AI, the mechanics of shooting in a way that is way better feeling than GTA 5 if you've gone back and like kind of played between the two. It just feels better. I would argue it looks better. Now a lot of people kind of take it down a notch because it is such a good like representation of what a Western is, because it's slow.
Yeah.
And it's paced that way, and it plays more like a novel than it does a blockbuster action movie.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and also the fact that like, even though it is pretty open, I mean, it's like massively open world. The story's pretty linear.
yeah.
When you
Sure.
get down to the actual story mode,
Yeah.
the game itself is pretty linear, and you can't really color outside the lines.
No. Yeah, and I think that is something that I do mark against it a little bit, and I have since I beat it the first time. It does kind of suck that it is such a innovatively massive world, and well constructed and very super immersive. Lets you essentially like play in your own Westworld, you know, and live out that like fantasy Western setting to its fullest. But in the mainline story, it is very straightforward.
Yeah.
And it as far as I would have preferred, they don't give you any options at all between the, you know, evil or good route, you know, like it felt like they were trying to tell a cohesive story. And if that were the case, don't give us the options.
Because I mean, really, it turns it into a video game and not a story being told or a story unfolding.
Right.
Like you could lower your honor all the way down.
Your honor.
And then when you felt like beating the game, you could just start doing stuff.
Just be nice.
Just be nice.
Just be nice, yeah.
And then you get your honor all the way back up,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
you could just effectively have whatever kind of ending for the game that
Right.
you wanted. So
It gamifies it in a way that makes it feel cheaper than the rest of the game feels.
Yeah.
And I don't like that.
Well, there's also other aspects of the game, like making it so that, you know, you can travel to all these different places. Like you could theoretically skip ahead to a lot of stuff if the game was truly open world.
Sure.
I mean, there's the thing where Micah gets put in prison and like
Spoilers.
And if you just left him there, you know, what if you just left him there?
Right. He's just there.
Then you would never have anything that happens in the end of the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
That's true.
Or what if you just shot him while he was, but
Sure.
Yeah.
But that, you know, that turns, I think that turns into a different kind of game, and it makes it more of like a Witcher or, I don't know, more of like a RPG as opposed to an open world action game, which is kind of what it is.
yeah.
I will say that my big gripe about them basically making it a yes or no option for how you beat the game is that they're clearly trying to get you to end the game with high honor.
Yeah.
Like it's clear that's the story they were trying to tell. So doing anything but that doesn't lead to a good story. It falls flat. And I've watched through the cinematics of somebody beating it with low honor, and it's like, all right, well, that sucks.
Yeah.
You know, like, okay.
And not for nothing, to your point, those endings don't even make any sense.
No.
Like if you're, I mean, just spoilers again. Spoilers. If you haven't beat the game, spoilers. But I remember this pretty vividly because I also watched some of the low honor cinematics because like I was just
Why not?
not on my first playthrough. I'm not going to go low honor.
No, of course not.
And yeah, the game itself is very clearly telling you what kind of man he is and what kind of man he is. The things that he's regretted in his life and
The things he's done before, like he starts essentially in low honor. Like he's done terrible things.
Right.
For no good reason.
And until he gets this TB diagnosis, he seems to be a man kind of beset on those ways, right?
But also at the same time struggling with them to a degree and being like, I don't think we should do that actually.
Right. Well, right. So why would a man, who's first of all dying, knows he's going to be dead within a couple of days because he hasn't taken care of himself. He's not getting bed rest. He's not doing anything. And at that point, it was a death sentence anyway.
Yeah.
Also a man who has kind of come to the tail end of his life and has realized that, you know, he's faithless and has nothing really left to live for.
Yeah.
And is looking back on,
he's wasted his life.
Yeah, and now he's thinking, you know, I need to end this on a high note. Basically,
Right.
I have to
Gotta do something.
I have to kind of come back from all of this stuff. I have to make my life worth it.
Right.
You're telling me that man at the end of his life is like, I still need the money. No.
I'll still murder
Of course
whoever I
not.
want.
He helps John, dude. That's very, very clearly the canon ending of the game.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's not get too off course here.
Well, I'll say, color me surprised
At the accuracy of this
the
list.
IGN list from what we saw, I can fucks with.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty good.
Probably some stuff. Some stuff. You switch the order around for a couple of little things. Let's go back up to like 80s.
Okay.
Just kind of skim through it. Hotline Miami. Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah. Killzone 2.
Yeah.
Rebirth at
Rebirth
78.
made it on the list.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Ridge Racer
All right.
at number 77. Type 4.
Returnal.
Okay.
Driver.
The original Driver sucked. I'm sorry.
That's crazy.
75.
Top
Driver.
75.
Yeah. No, that game sucked.
Yeah.
Little Big Planet 74. Yeah.
Little Big Planet should have been higher.
Yakuza 0 73.
There'd be no Astrobot without Little Big Planet.
It's true. Yeah. It was the mascot for a while. Need for Speed Underground 2 at 72. Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Helldivers 2 at 71.
Yeah.
Liberty.
Legacy of Kain.
Soul Reaver 70.
game.
Yeah. Sands of
of
Time
Persia.
69.
Eh.
Nice. Bully at 68.
Nice.
Katamari Damacy 67. Devil May Cry
Devil May Cry.
66. Phantom Pain 65. Yeah.
Rocket
League 64. Destiny at
Destiny.
63. That's a surprise. Destiny, not Destiny 2.
Yeah. True.
But okay. Parappa the Rapper 62.
Rappa.
61's Hitman World of Assassination. That's in the newer collection, right?
Yeah, and that's interesting to put that one.
Yeah.
That's the one that's kind of non-linear, I believe, right? And
it
can
was
just do the
it was like
missions.
3 different smaller games that they kind of put together. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Black Flag.
Black Flag. Awesome. And we're back to Sons of Liberty. Yeah. Journey. Crash Bandicoot.
Crash Bandicoot.
I prefer
57.
Warped. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Ghost of Tsushima.
56.
56. 55. Final Fantasy 9. Yeah. A lot of people's favorite Final Fantasy. Arkham City at 54. They have to have Asylum earlier, right?
Yeah. Asylum's got to be on the list for sure.
Vagrant Story 53. Often forgotten RPG on the PS1. Spider-Man 2 at 52. Walking Dead, Telltale, Walking Dead,
right,
51. And then GTA 3, where we started at 50.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Cool.
It's solid.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at it.
No.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was fun. Now to get into some bummer news. Okay. This is the Brews Read the News, the beer news. And what we got is this article written by Bon Appetit
Kate Bernot.
and entitled "The Slow Decline of Drinking Draft Beer
At bars. Why
Pretty-
ordering a draft beer might soon become a thing of the past.
Pretty on the nose name for an article.
Yeah.
So basically, I mean, you want to give the cliff notes and we can kind of...
Sure.
Did you read the article in full? I read most of it, kind of got the gist of what she was saying, the statistics, and,
Yeah.
and kind of her perspective on it and everything.
Yeah, so in a nutshell, this article is about the fact that, especially since the pandemic, draft beer consumption is notably down across the board, with people preferring canned, bottled beers. The article kind of spells out that it's not because people don't like draft beer anymore. It's less so that and more so the fact that we have now a generation that got used to staying in for the most part.
Yeah.
And so that led to a decline of people going out to bars, and an
And-
increase of people drinking in general, but more so people going to the store, grabbing stuff, bringing it home.
Yeah, people getting used to drinking out of cans and bottles and stuff like that.
Right. And then also a shift that has been shown in people preferring cocktails over beer.
Yeah.
So all of that summarized essentially to say this may be a sign of things to come. This may not be just a fad. And it within the article, they explain sort of the pros and cons of draft beer and, why it is preferred to so many bartenders, especially, and to some patrons, and it's a well written article, and there's a lot of good sources that they pull from all sides of this this occurrence in craft beer and beer in general. Because according to this article, at the turn of the century, draft was the more prominent way that people drank beer.
Yeah.
So within 25 years, that has shifted dramatically.
Yeah.
What do you think about this? And do you agree with the idea that draft is going out? Have you seen that in person at your job?
No.
Okay.
Number one, this list is interesting because it takes a more global perspective.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the numbers back it up, and polls and everything back
They got
up.
numbers.
But from a more micro level, no, dude, I haven't. I'll tell you what, I get into not arguments, but little back and
Tiffs?
forth with little tiffs. Tiffs with people, because I try to sell them on bottles and cans and things like that, and they don't want it. I think if you are still going to that now, the perspective of this article is people aren't going to breweries for draft beer pours, right? So they're just not going in general.
Yeah.
That makes sense, because if you are going, I mean, just from my own anecdotal evidence, I can't sell people on bottles and cans,
Sure.
even though, I mean, we have stuff like this, like the Nice. We don't have this specifically, but we have the Chouffe, the Belgian blonde. And, if you're into Trappist ales or Belgian ales in general, then, you kind of know your way around that stuff a little bit. It's kind of coming out of a bottle. But
Yeah.
when I'm trying to sell people on it, their first question is, which one do you have on tap? They always come in and want to hear about the taps. People always come in and they're like, what's new on tap? What's seasonal on tap?
What's on tap?
Doing? Yeah, dude. What's on tap for tonight? And that is the conversations that I am having as a bartender at a brewery. Now, I will say, perspective-wise, from other people, and again, from a more global perspective,
Yeah.
I can also see what she's describing in this article. Less and less young people are going out to breweries. They don't give a fuck how it's served.
Yeah, no.
So they have zero opinion on that. And
Well, and to be fair, we didn't as youngins either.
no,
You know?
no,
It's like,
no.
who cares?
I honestly I don't care. I still don't care. Really.
I care. I have a sort of rule of thumb that I
Okay.
go by. Would you like to hear it?
Yes, please.
Okay, so if I'm going out somewhere, if it's a dive bar or a place that I don't trust to have like a good system and to actually be cold,
Yeah.
I get bottled. And
Yeah.
I get can. If I'm going to a craft beer bar, if I'm going to a brewery, if I'm going to a craft cocktail lounge of not having a cocktail, I will get draft. I prefer how it tastes. I prefer the look. I prefer the feel. It just, to me, feels fresher.
Yeah.
And even like, if I were to go up to New York or something, and I would savor having a beer on draft that I can't normally get on draft down here.
Right.
So those things matter to me still. I prefer it. Is it a tragedy if the beer's actually canned instead? No. Not really. But I will say, if I'm going out, like I think a lot of your patrons, if I'm going out somewhere and I'm already there, I prefer a draft beer.
Yeah.
So if I can find one that's on draft, I will usually pick that over something that's a sure shot in a can.
Yeah. Okay. No, that makes sense. I respect that. I get that.
Yeah.
I guess I just have gotten to a point where, as long as the beer has been kegged at least, or bottled rather, at least semi recently, even within like a couple of months.
Yeah.
it's not. It just doesn't make a difference. I think, and I think that's really the biggest thing is I try to get people. I try to dispel some myths.
Yeah.
And that proves to be difficult because people are very ingrained into how they believe things should be. And I mean, I guess you could say the same thing for how I believe things should be. I just go by what I've been taught by all of these people who have been doing this thing for 20 years,
far longer,
30 years. Yeah. So I go by what these men and women teach me, and I feel now that the skill set and understanding that I have of how beer should be poured, how it should be presented, how it should be preserved, all that jazz, like, it brings me to this perspective, which is, as long as there are breweries that are still making the beers, whether it's in a bottle or whether it's on draft, I don't think makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
But I do understand the community and culture and the idea of going to a place and getting a nice, frothy, beautiful pour in a beer clean glass.
Yes.
And sitting there like I'm not trying to take anything away from that, because that experience is that's why we're here. That's why we do this thing, right? But I think the larger issue is, how is this going to affect breweries in general? Because if these things, if this kind of stuff keeps trending the way that it's trending, you know, in the next 10 or 15 years, is it going to stop at just bottles, or is it just going to get to the point where, you know, it's just other brewers at other breweries?
Yeah,
well, middle-aged dudes who are like, you remember when?
Back in the day, I used to get a proper pour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the people who you know, it's so funny, all these people who sit on their high horse about drinking stuff on tap, and then want to argue with me about how these beers are supposed to be poured. That's the thing that always fucking kills me.
Oh yeah.
Is you know, it's the people who I could.
Well, that's part of the article too, is people saying, like, we're losing the art of a good pour too.
Yeah.
When it comes to doing straight up bottles or cans. I mean, obviously you can pour properly from a bottle or a can. Mm-hmm. that exists too, but there is something specifically to having it on tap. And I want to read this quote actually that I found. Thank you. I'm freaking out a little bit. The quote is, "When you watch someone pour a Guinness, you don't chit-chat. You watch that shit pour," says Liz Garibay, executive director of the Beer Culture Center, a nonprofit organization that shares stories of how beer has shaped humanity, past and present. Quote, "It's a beautiful thing to look at, and I think that is something so pivotal to our experiences in bars. Any good learning experience is going to be multi-sensory." So, you know, I think it sounds very up one's own ass to present it in that way, but I kind of agree. Like, there is something to ordering a beer and seeing someone pour it from the tap correctly. Yeah. Even doing the little, you gotta give me, there's not too much head. You know, even if they're not good at it, like, it's still cool to see. It's still, in a way, it feels like it's connecting you more with being there and being present there, and you're not like just, ooh. And you're not just, you know, grabbing a beer out of the fridge and, you know, let me put it in my koozie and sling them back. Like, it makes it more of a thing. And I think ritual has a lot to do with making anything special. You know, like, I can make a pot of coffee whenever I want, and that's fine. It does the trick. But when I do a nice slow pour over, I grind the beans myself. I do it nice and slow. You know, I make sure the gases are coming out of the beans before I fully submerge them. I'm making sure they're all getting in there and mixing up. Doing that, though in a blind taste test, you may not be able to tell the difference, makes me feel better about it. And it makes it more of an event, and it makes it more special.
Get that.
So I think there will be something missing if we do completely go away from the draft experience, even if the flavor's the same.
But I also think that consumers have to also kind of take a little bit of responsibility when it comes to this stuff, because they're the reason that it's not just dumb kids and it's not just COVID. It's like, it's also, you respect the process, and there are plenty of people out there who respect the process. What that girl was talking about with the Guinness pour, for instance, like
that's a woman, sir.
Sorry, woman, lady,
Liz Garibay.
Liz, just call her by her name, Liz Garibay. Pouring a Guinness, pouring a nitro beer in general.
Yeah.
Doing all that stuff properly, pouring a check pour properly.
Oh, you can't do that anymore. Ugh.
Yeah. He's really ruined that.
Man,
I know. The world's just
we're
getting
losing
smaller,
them.
We're getting them all. We're losing them all, man. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that coming up next. Yeah, the idea that going to a brewery and experiencing the bar that way is part of the ritual.
Yeah.
I hope that, if anything, something like this and these numbers kind of wake people up to the idea of like respecting the process.
Yeah.
Because I do feel like that kind of gets forgotten. There's people who want to do that cool shit, and if you think that how something is supposed to be done, it's just people will come into red light. Will come into red light and they'll ask. They're like, what? Do you have a Blue Moon? No, I'm sorry. We carry independent breweries. Do you have anything closest to a Blue Moon? It's like, dude, why don't you look around?
Right.
There's like 200 something beers here. Excuse me. Find something else.
Yeah.
Be adventurous. Enjoy yourself. Like that's what I think is the beauty of working at a place like that and going to places like that. Is I never go to a place and I'm like, I just went to Death in the Afternoon. It's our new absinthe bar out here in Orlando. And
whereabouts?
It's on Mills.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like right next to Taco China.
Nice.
And I don't know much about absinthe.
Yeah.
I know that I thought that it made you hallucinate, but apparently that's a myth.
It is a myth. I had this exact conversation with Sherry. Yeah. No, people, it's, yeah. I mean, it has an ingredient that it derives from, which is wormwood, which has hallucinogenic properties. However, generally speaking, and I only know a little bit about this, but in America, the kind of absinthe that they have does not have that wormwood element in it. So maybe if you're, in Amsterdam or something, maybe.
Get some wormwood absinthe.
Yes.
Yeah,
Absinthe. But in America, it's essentially just a really strong liquor.
So I went to a place where they have really strong liquor, absinthe. And
do they do the sugar cube thing, or is it already pre-mixed?
I think if I got just one of their absinthes, that they would do that, because it was like on the menu.
Yeah.
I got one of their cocktails.
Okay.
The namesake, Death in the Afternoon.
Oh, nice. How was that?
And it was great.
Yeah.
It was great. Even if you don't like absinthe, I think they're doing some cool stuff over there. The reason I bring that up is because that's what I do when I go to places like that. I don't go to an absinthe bar and then ask.
You got a Blue Moon?
Right. I don't go to a tiki bar.
You guys got any Bacardi?
So don't do that.
Yeah.
When you come to
explore.
That would be my word of advice.
Sample the world.
To piggyback off of this article, the only way that we're gonna get back to kind of enjoying, and given all the elements that she outlines, we're probably never going back.
Yeah.
As sad as it is to just say, we're probably never going back.
No.
But to the people who do, I would say, enjoy it. Slow down. Relax.
Yeah.
Even if you don't like some of the stuff. Now you can say, I don't like check pours.
Right.
I don't like saisons. You can say that. Instead of being 55 years old and never having even tasted a farmhouse ale.
Right.
or a sour or a goza or anything like that, you just try those things.
Yeah.
Enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Uh,
That's what life's about, man.
That's
You gotta
right.
you gotta get out there. You gotta shake it up a little. You gotta try some stuff. You gotta retry some stuff sometimes. Sometimes your palate changes.
Right.
Sometimes you change.
right.
You know, I do like the idea that this article, lightly outlines. Is like, I could see the draft beer experience becoming something akin to like going to the movie theater, where it's like, going to the movies is not what it used to be. And
Yeah.
it will never be that again because
Yeah.
we have streaming and we have our smartphones and et cetera, et cetera. However, if you do go, a lot of times people are going in order to have that experience. Like they're going with more intention, like you're
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
So if you're going to a bar or a brewery that has their own stuff on tap, give it a shot. Try it out. That's what you're there for, right?
Yeah.
You're already out there. I think we're preaching to the choir here, honestly. But
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you have closed-minded friends or family, I would implore you to implore them to go outside the
Implore
box
you
a
to
little bit
implore them.
and try some other stuff. A lot of these places will let you get a little sample if you're not sure.
We don't do flights.
No flights.
No flights.
Get
Get
your
over
ass
it.
grounded.
Yeah. Flights are dumb.
Yeah, that's true. I don't like flights.
Yeah. They don't make any sense.
It's I won't get into my tirade about flights.
No, let's do it. We have a little bit of time, and then we'll get into the other stuff.
Okay. So, actually, now that you mention Death in the Afternoon, I went to the Central Florida Meadery for the first
Zamarium?
time. Yeah, Zinarium, yeah.
Zamarium.
Zamarium.
Zamarium. It's Z-Y.
Zymarium.
Zamarium.
Zamarium. Yes, Zamarium.
Zamarium.
I went to Zamarium with Sherry a couple weeks back for the first time. It's a meadery. Meteor. And I got a flight because, like you, with absinthe, I don't know much about mead.
Yeah.
So, they have like an awe-inspiring list of different kinds of meads,
Yeah.
and then cocktails that they make with the meads, and it's it's a cool spot. I would definitely go back. But I decided to try their flight of mead,
Yeah.
and
Is that the mead alarm? The Zamarium
they're talking
alarm?
about mead. But I decided to get that, and I realized I only like 2 of these.
Yeah.
And the rest of them I don't really like.
Yeah.
So it was a waste. I should have just gone with my gut and committed and been like, I'm getting this one because this one sounds good.
Right.
And I didn't. And you know what? The one I liked, one of the 2 that I liked, was the one I was going to get anyway.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
I don't like flights.
Yeah.
I don't like them.
I don't-
Look, what happens is you generally get not enough of the thing you like and too much of the stuff you don't like.
Exactly. That's exactly the problem. We take this set of beers. First of all, it takes forever. Just from a complainy bartender aspect.
Oh, I'm always self-conscious about that. If I were to ever order a flight, I'm like, it's way too much work.
Listen, if you guys have listened to any episodes, you know that I'm just a complainer.
Yeah,
So-
it's what the show's based on.
So I will say that I may be the outlier here. So don't quote me and then bring this to your other bartender friends. But I will say it's a pain in the ass.
It looks like a pain in the ass.
I didn't like it. I never liked doing them. And the only reason I caveat that is because I have talked to other bartenders who are like, it's no
fine.
big deal. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck you.
Shut up.
Don't make my complaints seem trivial.
Oh, I'm a productive bartender.
Like, oh, I like my job. Ooh. So, first of all, it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
It takes you off. It kind of takes you off the floor because now you're focused on this one project
Yeah.
as opposed to being able to knock out multiple things at once
Yeah, you're pouring 4 or 5 individual beers
for one person.
for one person, yeah.
And then the worst thing about it is like exactly what you said. If they're 4 to 5 ounce pours, and sometimes they're 3 to 4 ounce pours.
Yeah.
Usually they're 4 to 5 different selections, And I'll just tell you from, again, anecdotally, the stuff that I experienced was people going, it was one of two things. It was, you know, let me get all of your light beers, which is like, why the fuck would you do that? Just drink, just
Just
drink
get one.
of them.
Yeah, just pick one.
Or it was people going, oh, we've never been here before. Let's do a bunch of flights so we can experience the whole bar. So that's what they would do. It would be like 4 or 5 of their friends. They would all get a flight. They would all get different flights.
You fools.
And then
You don't know what you're getting into.
when they heard each other ordering, they would be like, oh, that's what I was going to order. And it's like, you can. It's fine.
Yeah.
Maybe you should, so
Yeah.
that I can pour 2 of those at the same time and not have to do. Dude, when multiple people would come in asking for flights, I mean,
You're like running across every single pull that you can possibly
dude,
do.
it was horrible. So from a labor aspect of it, it sucked. But from a consumer aspect, it also sucks because how much do you really think you can taste a beer in a couple of ounces?
Right.
How much can you really enjoy that thing in just a couple? You can get a taste of it, you can get an idea of it, but you can't really enjoy it.
The only time I could see that working, I'm sorry to cut you off, is if we're in a group, I would say no more than 3 people. Okay, you get a flight. You pick the few beers that you were interested in having as a group. You each take a little sippy sip from them and go, I want more of that one.
Yeah.
And you order the full thing, each of you, after that flight for the collective.
No, dude, you know what people would do? They'd come in and they'd ask for samples for their flight. Yeah, all the time. All the time. I would get people going, can I try that? Can I try that? Okay, cool. I want to do a flight, and I want to do, and it's like, you just did it. You just did it. Now just order a beer.
Right.
What the fuck is wrong with some of y'all? Dude, that's why I was like, I have so much to say.
Don't
about
go
this
there.
topic,
Don't go
'cause then
there.
It just like rolls into all the aspects. Because going back to the article, what she was saying about the show, the pomp and circumstance of going to a place and watching somebody pour beer and do the whole thing. That's like 90% of my job is beer knowledge and beer pours.
Right.
That's what I mean for our place specifically. I mean, there's other breweries that don't really focus on that as much. For us specifically, beer knowledge and the pours themselves, like proper pours.
Sure.
So I really resonated, or this article resonated with me as I'm reading it, because I'm like, I mean, I wish that more people were passionate about going to a place and trying to understand what was going on, as opposed to fighting at every turn.
Yeah.
You know, hey man, I just want a light beer. Just give me a light beer. Like, okay, sure, dude. I have a lager, I have a Kolsch, I have a Pilsner I can give you. And then you're
saying words, but I don't. What are you? I asked for a beer.
Hey, just give me a beer, man. Like, why are you making it complicated? And I'm like, because I want you to enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
And also because I have 1,000 of the thing you said.
Right.
So you need to be just.
I want to get you what you want.
Yeah, just be a little bit more specific. So it's at the end of the day.
Well, part of your job is education. So you do
I
help
wanna-
onboard them.
I want to educate the people that want to be educated.
Sure,
It's
sure,
like
sure.
being a teacher. When you get into this job, you think you're a professor at a college level, and you're amongst like-minded individuals who are like, I'd like to be better at this, so I'm going to you, the guy who's already good at it.
Yeah.
Instead, you're actually a 4th grade teacher.
This is Dangerous Minds.
Yeah, that's what it is. And then you get that 1 or 2 or like handful of students who are in the corner who are like, yo, teacher, we trying to learn too. I'm trying to get out the hood. You know what I'm saying? And then you're like, that's my guy.
Jamal, you have potential.
Yo, teacher, I'm trying to get out the hood. Well, Sarah, you're not going to get out the hood talking like that. So maybe clean it up a bit. You're from Bel Air. And that is the issue. So at the end of the day, I just want people to, if they read this article or if they see any of these polls or they see any of these numbers, or they just find themselves feeling it and experiencing it, go to your local brewery and just like let the dude or girl or whoever do the thing. Just let them do the thing.
Sure.
Let them give you the show. And if you don't like the show, you're more than welcome to be like, that show sucked.
Yeah.
That the customer is always right in matters of taste. So if you don't like it, that's fine.
Sure.
But don't shit on the show before the show starts.
It's true.
You know?
You showed up to the show.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Let it commence.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Now that we're done with that.
Speaking of shows.
The real show.
It's the big show.
Girl, Jay-Z's going to jail. No, we don't know.
We
Who
don't
knows?
know.
Who knows?
We don't know. We don't know.
So here we are with another one of the guys that we grew up with who'd
Facing allegations.
facing alligators.
Uh-huh.
And this one's pretty bad.
Yeah. I mean, most of them are.
Not to like scale them. not that he's more important or anything, but like what he's being accused of is pretty heinous.
It's on level of what we've heard
Yeah.
from the Diddy.
Yeah.
The Diddy nonsense.
So you can kind of go for yourself and look up the details. Suffice to say, there are some stuff with minors.
Yes.
Some pretty bad stuff with minors that he's accused of doing in
2000.
2000. Okay.
Yes.
This does involve Puffy.
It does.
P. Diddy.
Yep.
So there is that.
Collaborators and some would say friends.
I mean, the thing is, what everybody was saying when Puffy got, like, all these charges came down on him was, man, he's got a lot of friends.
Yeah.
And he's been friends with these people for a long time.
Right.
I would be very, very surprised if the wheels don't come off for a lot of other people, too.
As we said. As we speculated.
Right.
This is just the beginning.
And here we are. And like I said at the top of the show, I am pretty surprised that the first domino to fall with all of this stuff is actually one of the biggest dominoes. I mean, it cannot be overstated at this point where Jay-Z is in pop culture. From a rap perspective, you've got 18 and 19-year-olds who are like, fuck Jay-Z, or like, oh, Nicki Minaj is better than Jay-Z. Fine, whatever. I'm not even going to entertain that conversation. For anybody who has half a brain or
turn
is
off
older
that
than
unk
that.
shit.
Nice. He is pretty consensusly considered one of, if not the greatest rappers of all time.
Correct.
Routinely tops or rounds out top 5 lists of the greatest rappers of all time.
Yeah.
And not only that, he is one of the most financially successful businessmen in America.
Businessman.
He's a businessman. Being a black man, being a rapper, being a former drug dealer, and being also one of the most successful entertainers in the world.
And married to Beyonce.
And also Mr. Knowles.
Mr. Knowles, yes.
I say all that to say that, like, he's got his tendrils in a lot of stuff that people don't even seem to realize.
Yes.
I mean, I think he's at a level of being, like, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if he moved into, well, not now, but moved into, before this, he could have moved into legit politics.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Lobbying and things of that nature.
I mean, you know.
I guess maybe this wouldn't even stop him. There's a bunch of weirdos up there, too, so I guess it doesn't even matter. Really.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to only work for one side of the aisle, but,
well,
you know.
He's a black Republican. He's got a whole song about it.
It's true. He said it. Mm-hmm. It must be true.
It must be true.
Yeah. Beyonce has been politically outspoken before, so I wouldn't be surprised if behind the scenes he isn't having a finger in some form of politics.
Ew.
Excuse me.
Can we read that, or should we just not and leave it alone? I don't know about YouTube. When you get into the later, I will say, just as a side note,
sure.
Sometimes I will leave comments on TikTok and they will get flagged instantly, and I have to appeal them. And sometimes it's not even like, I don't say crazy stuff. I don't tell people to
sure.
like, no, I swear to God, I don't tell people to like kill themselves or things like that. I don't think that's what I say. I never ever because I don't like that kind of discourse online.
Yeah.
I never jump into a comment section and just be shitty to somebody.
Yeah.
I'm always engaging with the thing. Now, if I go back and forth with somebody because of how I jumped into the conversation,
Sure.
then that's one thing. But
Yeah.
I've never jumped into a conversation and just was like, you're a fucking idiot, or kill yourself, or you need to be blah, blah, blah. Say nothing crazy like that. But if you say anything, like I think I did call somebody... I said the guy in the video was an idiot, but it wasn't the guy. It was about a really famous person.
Okay.
So it wasn't like I wasn't telling the person who posted the video that they were an idiot, and I
Right.
wasn't talking to a person.
Yeah.
I was just saying the subject of the video did a really dumb thing, and they did. Flagged instantly.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I appealed
Bullying.
it, and I was like, no, dude, I mean, I wasn't even talking about the guy, and I wasn't talking to anyone. I was talking about the subject of the video, and the subject of the video was how stupid that this person was being.
Yeah.
Appealed it, lost the appeal. They just removed the comment. So TikTok, you know how these fucking
You would have been
kids.
you would have been fine on Twitter.
Huh?
You would have been fine.
Oh
on
yeah,
Twitter.
would have. Oh yeah, definitely.
I flagged plenty of things on Twitter that they're like, actually,
They're like,
calling someone a Jew is not against our terms of service.
seems okay to me.
Yeah.
Oh, the guy with kill N-word 69. Love it. great username.
He can say white power. I mean,
But yeah. So their flagging system is robust.
yeah.
And now I understand why people when they post TikToks they say thing like grape.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like-
Yeah. I mean, more so than any other platform, you see that on
Yeah.
TikTok.
Yeah.
And it's for that reason.
It's pretty fucking insane.
Yeah.
Because I used to think like you guys are being such babies. They're not going to do anything, but they will.
They do.
They
Yeah,
will
yeah.
take your video down in an instant.
They do. Actually, that reminds me. You know the guy Tizzy Ent, the
Yeah.
bearded guy that does like the.
He's always like, I'm gonna find these racists.
Yeah, exactly. He responds to and like finds people who act poorly on TikTok. Mm-hmm. He came out with a TikTok I saw that was like, you know, I've been flagged so many times simply for responding to someone being shitty.
Yeah.
Like in messages, like he'll have some people who like said something racist, and he'll respond to them in their inbox saying like, "Hey, just so you know, there's this video of you going around saying this stuff. Like, what's the deal?" And they'll be like, "Ah, you know, fuck you, freedom of speech."
Yeah.
And oh no, even better, they'll come back to him and be like, "You know, I'll find you and I'll kill you."
Yeah.
And he'll be like, I got a gun. I live in Florida. So,
Yeah.
you know, feel free. It'll be the last, like, if you live out of state, make it a one-way ticket. You won't need the one coming back. And it gets flagged.
Yeah.
And he loses his appeal because he's telling people, don't fuck with me because you said you're going to kill me.
Yeah. No, man.
So,
it's,
like,
it's,
it doesn't matter.
there's no consistency.
No.
At all.
No.
So yeah. Bearing that in mind, you guys can read the details of this Jay-Z.
Yes,
stuff if you
all
want
that to say, we're not going to get into the details, but
But let's get
it's-
into his statement.
Yeah, okay, I will. You want me to read his statement? His actual.
Do you want to do it in your best Jay-Z voice?
I can try.
Have you ever done a Jay-Z impression before?
Yo, it's right.
Yeah. Do the whole thing.
Is that it?
That's pretty good.
Okay. It's right. Let's go to his X account.
That's how he laughs.
Someone actually ran this through AI.
Yeah.
And had it as him.
Yeah.
As his voice doing it behind a beat, and it was actually pretty good.
You don't have to do that.
My lawyer received a blackmail attempt. Called a demand letter from a lawyer, air quote, lawyer named Tony Busby. What he had calculated was the nature of these allegations, and the public scrutiny would make me want to settle. No, sir.
I feel like you're doing more of a DJ Clue.
No, sir. No, sir.
No, sir. No, sir.
All right, I can't do it anymore. No, sir. It had the opposite effect. It made me want to expose you for the fraud you are in a very public fashion. So no, I will not give you one red penny.
All caps.
Yeah. Which should have been 1 red cent. That's the actual phrase, but you know.
That's how we know he's guilty.
Just panicking.
He got that one wrong.
These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Would you not agree?
Would you not agree?
These alleged victims would deserve real justice if that were the case. This lawyer, who I have done a bit of research on, seems to have a pattern of these type of theatrics. I have no idea how you have come to be such a deplorable human, Mr. Busby. But I promise you I have seen your kind many times over. I'm more than prepared to deal with your type. You claim to be a Marine? Marines are known for their valor. You have neither honor nor dignity.
Okay, Sean.
My only heartbreak is for my family. My wife and I will have to sit our children down, one of whom is at the age where her friends will surely see the press and ask questions.
Your dad's a rapist.
About the nature of these claims and explain the cruelty and greed of people. I mourn yet another loss of innocence.
Statutory.
Children, I don't know if you can scream that. Children should not have to endure such at their young age. It is unfair to have to try to understand inexplicable degrees of malice meant to destroy families and human spirit.
Statutory.
My heart and support
young
goes.
I mean, really young.
It's the young. My heart and support goes out to true victims in the world who have to watch how their story is dressed in costume for profitability by the ambulance chaser in a cheap suit. You have made a terrible error in judgment thinking that all, quote, celebrities are the same. I'm not from your world. I'm a young man who made it. Young man who made it.
You're not that young.
Who made it out of the project of Brooklyn. Okay, so there's been a lot of... I'm pausing right here. There's been a lot of discourse about him saying he's a young man to come out of Brooklyn. What I think he meant by that was he was young when he made his way out of Brooklyn. I don't think he means he's still young, because that is objectively false.
Yeah. How is it worded? Where is it?
I'm a young man who made it out of the project of Brooklyn, which Brooklyn is not a project. It's a borough, but, you know.
Yeah, and I think he probably meant out of the projects of Brooklyn.
Of Brooklyn, right. Continuing. We don't play these types of games. We have very strict codes and honor. We protect children. You seem to exploit people for personal gain. Only your network of conspiracy theorists, fake physics, I don't know what that means, will believe the idiotic claims you have levied against me that, if not for the seriousness surrounding harm to kids, would be laughable. I look forward to showing you just how different I am. Bam.
Pretty serious response.
Yeah.
Again, one of those things. Oh yeah, there it is. Kind of go either way, right? I saw some people saying, I mean, wow, who responds this fast and so vehemently? I feel like he's innocent. And then I saw some people who were like, wow, who responds that fast? Probably guilty.
Well, yeah, I mean, you could absolutely read it both ways because, sure, like it's clearly written by him.
Yeah.
It was clearly written without PR approval.
Yeah.
Without spell check, without somebody going over it.
Jay doesn't seem like a guy who seeks PR approval.
No, and that's clear. Now, for instance, in this Business Insider article, they got a CEO of a crisis PR firm, Red Banyan is the name of the firm, to comment on this about his opinion about how it was handled. And Evan Neerman, the CEO, says, and I quote, I think Jay-Z was strong in pointing out the heinous nature of the crimes and that he views them as unconscionable. But I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of a flat denial, which within that you don't really get. He never says, I didn't do that.
See, I just on the statement alone, on the face of that statement alone, I think I disagree with that.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why.
Please.
Because it's our podcast.
Yeah.
I feel like addressing it in the way... Now, listen, I just want to say for the record, I mean, I am not saying that he's innocent because of the way that he responded or anything.
Sure.
But I do believe that just basing it off of this PR firm's perspective, or opinion, rather,
Yeah.
I think the fact that he made such a note to point out just how unbelievable, how unconscionable, how disgusting, how heinous these crimes are.
Yeah.
And to him, personally, how heinous they are. And pointing out the fact that, like, listen, I'm from a different world than you people.
Yeah.
You guys exploit people on the regular. That's just what you do.
Yeah.
I grew up where women and children are protected.
Yeah.
I mean, at least that's the code of the streets.
Well,
you don't engage in shit on Sunday. You don't go after people's mothers. You don't go after people's...
There's rules.
There's rules. There's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
code of ethics. There's that people break all the time. But there
Sure.
is this belief system
Yeah,
that
yeah.
the streets has a code of ethics.
Right.
Excuse me. And him pointing that out, to me, says more than a statement of these claims are ridiculous. I flatly deny them.
Yeah,
I would
sure.
never engage and blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That rings true for people plugged into that kind of culture. But I say for the larger masses, they could see it that way. Is like, he didn't say he didn't do it.
Yeah. But I think if you want him to be guilty,
You'll find.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'll read whatever you want into that statement. I will say, I'm of the mind that response rings true, and it rings like a man who is disturbed and pissed off at the allegations. And from my point of view, it adds some credence to him not being involved with that kind of stuff. But I will say there is a lot of circumstantial evidence that points to the viability of that kind of stuff happening.
yeah.
Based on his relationships, based on his closeness with Diddy at times, based on the inner circles that are secretive that we don't really know much about, and this multi-millionaire sort of collection of people that he's been a part of for decades at this point.
And these eyes wide shut parties they be having.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If you don't think that happens, I mean,
yeah. Oh,
it happens.
come on. And
So-
I mean, it's just even the relationship that he engaged in with Beyonce. at
Yeah,
the
oh,
time,
yeah.
I mean, she was pretty young. So
yeah.
he definitely has not. I mean, I don't. Just being a fan, I don't want these
Of
things
course
to
not.
be
Of course not.
true. But if they are, I mean, put them under the prison and
Sure,
build another
yeah.
prison on
Yeah,
top
yeah.
of them. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we're in a place where I think there's a hunger for the elites to get their just desserts.
Yes.
So, I think we're in a current climate in which that will be cheerleaded and that will be encouraged. And
recently people have been turning on Jay-Z just
in
general.
Yeah. Well, I don't think he's really ingratiated himself to being a likable character in modern media.
No, he's not very likable.
No.
when you think about like just how removed he seems to be from everything and how above everybody he seems to be. Jay-Z seems to be like this unobtainable. I mean, when you see him in interviews, he seems like a really likable guy.
Yeah.
But the way that he's kind of, framed himself away from everything else, he does come off as pretty like callous and cold.
Which who knows? Maybe stuff like this is exactly why he removes himself from the media.
Well, it didn't fucking help, did it?
not right now.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
So-
And there's already conspiracy theorists who are out there who are saying who are going back to the date that this thing supposedly happened. They're like, there's no way he could have done it. He was on tour here. He was doing this thing. He was already. I was reading something where this guy was like, he was already on probation for stabbing somebody. Like, why would he?
He stabbed the guy. He couldn't possibly do this.
He couldn't possibly be held accountable for doing something like this.
Right.
He had already stabbed somebody.
Yeah.
So
it's a good alibi.
I don't know, man.
He was busy stabbing a guy.
He was too busy trying to murder someone. How could he take advantage of a minor?
Honestly, a lesser crime.
Killing,
I'd rather he stabbed a guy.
I kind of, I mean, it seemed like an argument that escalated, and it just seems like, sometimes you gotta stab a motherfucker. I don't know.
That's true. Yeah.
So
See nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. I don't know. It's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out.
It's getting sticky.
The very immediate reaction is for him to pop out to the Mufasa, the Lion King show. Somebody was like, they're accusing
50
me
Cent.
It was 50 Cent. It was 50 Cent. Bro, he's going crazy right now.
Insane.
He posted something on his Instagram, and everyone was like, 50, you've gone too far.
Yeah, stop.
You've gone too far, man.
It's too much.
And when people are like telling 50 that he's gone too far, that's when it's like, all right.
Too much.
Yeah.
Too much. Yeah. No, there's no quitting 50 Cent.
No.
So
I don't know, man. I guess we'll keep our ear to the streets.
It is depressing, though.
Yeah.
I will say, as it's I care more about Jay-Z than I do about Puffy.
Yeah.
So it would recontextualize one of the greatest artists of this genre.
Yeah.
For all of history, and obviously that's secondary to the pain and suffering of this alleged victim. So I'm not saying that's more important, but from a larger perspective, it would send ripples through hip hop and pop music.
Yeah.
For years to come.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And I don't think he's the last of people to be accused of stuff.
No.
I think this is only the beginning. So, in that original filing that Busby put out, they had an unnamed man, and that was apparently Jay-Z, and an unnamed female who was also a witness to what happened, allegedly. So the unnamed female has yet to be named, but that could be coming out as well. So we'll see. But all of it, bad stuff.
Yeah.
Don't like it.
Not good stuff.
Hot
Not
take.
good.
Don't like it.
Man, wow. You're really drawing a line in the sand here.
Put my foot down.
Yeah. We
I don't like this stuff.
Don't like this stuff.
Don't like it.
Don't like it. I don't like it.
I'll tell you what.
Hey, Gates.
Don't like it.
No.
Don't like it.
Don't
do
Not
that.
with the Gates. Don't do it.
No.
Don't do it.
No.
Not even if you're JC. All right.
Okay.
Let's go on to nicer things.
Okay.
Good things. Things that you would raise a glass to.
Oh.
It is now time for Cheers of the Week. So, Obi, what's your cheers?
My cheers of the week goes out to physical media.
Wow. I think you might have cheers to this before, but we should probably cheers to it every month.
I don't care if I've done it before. I'll do it as many times as I need to. Physical media. The reason I bring this up is because 28 days later, impossible to find now.
Can't get it.
Can't get it unless
Can't get it.
unless you're a pirate.
Oh,
Yarr. But it boggles the mind that these studios know that there's going to be a trailer for a new entry in the 28 Days Later franchise. Mm-hmm. And they decide to leave money on the table.
Right there on the table.
For people who want to catch up in this series by not republishing as many Blu-rays and 4K Blu-rays and even DVDs and even putting it on streaming services that they can.
How have we not done the 28 box set?
It could totally be a thing. And I don't understand why there's no forethought to make more money. I thought that's what, this was all about.
Yeah.
Yet capitalism fails me again, and there is no physical
Again and again.
copies. There's no legal streamable way to watch 28 Days Later at this point.
Right.
I find that obscene, frankly, and
That's fucked up.
yeah, that's why I say, don't get rid of your collections of physical media. Don't ever get rid of it. Hold on to it. You never know when a situation like this is going to come about where you're like, I haven't seen 28 Days Later in a while. I that new trailer looked really good for 28 years, 28 months later.
Is it not years?
No. 28 days, weeks, and months.
It's 28 months?
Is it years?
I think it's 28 years.
Is it years? Has
I'm
it been 28 years?
98% sure it's 28 years.
But that wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, they skipped it for sure.
You're probably right.
Yeah, it's 28 years. They
What happened
skipped
to months? Are we going to make Months a TV show? What's going on here? I don't like that. Yeah, okay. So 28 years.
Yeah, if you Google 28 months, it goes to 28. This is definitely 28 years.
Okay, fair enough. 28
Yeah, I
years.
wonder why they
the
skipped
trailer just
28
dropped.
months.
Give me some clearance here. But yeah, I just think it's silly that we don't have a legal way to watch 28 Days Later, the first movie in this series that's coming back out. But here we are. So another reminder: hold on to your DVDs, hold on to your Blu-rays, hold on to your 4Ks, and hold on tight, because I can't take that from you.
Oh, I didn't. Did you know this? It was shot back to back with its sequel. There's going to be 28 years later. Movies.
I did not know
28 years later, part 2, The Bone Temple,
that. Oh, okay.
which will be directed
That's what
by
I call my
Nia
bedroom.
DaCosta. It's going to be directed by Nia DaCosta.
Oh, nice.
And
okay.
that one's going to star Cillian Murphy.
Oh, hell yeah.
So everybody who's, by the way, everyone who's like, that zombie must be
That
Cillian
zombie's
Murphy.
Cillian Murphy. Yeah,
Shut the fuck up.
No, shut up.
There's no fucking shot that zombie.
That's the feature from Academy Award winning Cillian Murphy.
He's gonna show
Just
up,
shuffle around.
and just be like,
Boy, am I
that's it.
thirsty.
yeah. You guys are so fucking stupid
Yeah. Well, and then an extra confirmed it on Twitter.
that it's not him.
Yeah, they were like, I was on set that day. That's not Cillian
Well,
Murphy.
there's already been set photos of him. Yeah. You guys are morons, man.
Yeah,
Is
don't be
this
stupid.
Discussing film, you guys usually do good work, but I didn't like.
Count your days.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yes.
Also, it's shot on iPhone.
Which I insane. I can't even wrap my head around.
Have you seen the
that.
trailer?
I did see the trailer.
Okay,
Looks
good.
amazing.
Looks so good.
Yeah, and I'm
So good.
I am shocked.
Yeah.
Not shocked at Danny Boyle's eye,
Oh, yeah, no. It's-
but shocked at I don't know. I kind of feel a little bit like, you know what? Even if you can shoot it on an iPhone, don't give Apple that kind of juice. Like, look what this is, a blockbuster, multi-million-dollar movie, and it was shot on a phone.
Well, no, I think it actually goes in line with this series because the first one was all DV. That's why it kind of looks like shit.
But that's the point,
But
though.
it looks real. That's why.
Yeah, now you want to do it on an iPhone because you're like, I mean, it doesn't look like shit. It looks.
No,
I mean,
looks
in fact,
way higher quality.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
the opposite.
Yeah.
Looks very, very artsy. Looks very beautifully shot.
Yeah. But I
So-
think Danny Boyle is one of those guys that, like, for better and worse, wants to keep experimenting.
Yeah.
With like how he does things.
What was the last movie he made?
Oh, it's a good question. I don't know.
Look it up real quick. Danny Boyle.
There had to be something after Trainspotting too, right?
I don't know.
I think-
I haven't heard from him in a while. So
Yeah.
Let's see. His most recent film was there's Trainspotting to Battle of the Sexes, which he
Oh yeah.
a sports comedy drama
Yeah, it's the tennis movie.
directed by Valerie Ferris and Jonathan Dayton and written by, I think he produced this one.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he was just a producer on this.
Yeah.
His last directed movie was Yesterday.
Oh
That-
yeah.
that Beatles movie.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
That one with the freaky John Lennon in the end.
That's right.
Have you come to kill me? I feel like I've lived too long. Why am I still alive? I've got this hole in my chest. this metaphorical hole.
I feel a little empty.
Yoko's gone. She's left me.
For some reason, I really like Japanese movies.
I don't get it. Okay. My cheers of the week. That's a funny bit. I don't care. I don't care who you are. I like that bit of him thinking like I should have died. I don't know why I'm not dead. Rest in peace, woman beater. My cheers of the week is going to surprise, surprise, Marvel Rivals.
Oh, there we go.
We're gonna take a sharp left turn into video games, or back into video games. Rather.
Yeah.
And so this week saw the official release of the free-to-play online hero shooter Marvel Rivals.
There was a beta for a while too. People
were messing around with the beta, and they finally released the game in full. Now, listen,
okay,
Marvel, Disney. It's a multi-billion-dollar company.
Yeah.
And I do not want to sit here and sing the praises of a multi-billion-dollar company. But I have to. Honestly, I'm sorry, but I have to.
If the product's good, the product's good.
And that's it right there, babe. It's a well-made game so far.
Yeah.
I mean, in this very early stage, we know nerfs and patches and buffs and all that other bullshit that comes along with it. You know, in the next 2 weeks, it can be a completely different game.
An ongoing experience.
Right.
Yeah.
And also the fact that it's free to play. Who knows what can happen with, like, the Battle Pass. I mean, Overwatch was perfect before it wasn't. So I'm not saying that this couldn't be a completely different game in the next year or so. But as it stands,
On launch,
it is actually really, really, really good.
which is impressive in its own right.
Yeah. I'm shocked at how much fun I'm having playing it. I am shocked at how well it's done. I am shocked at the amount of detail and care that they put into the game. I was watching some video and they were going through all of the voice actors, and most of them are either people who have played the characters before.
Yeah.
The Spider-Man is Insomniac Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Stephen Blum is Wolverine. He's played Wolverine for like the last 15 years or so.
Squirrel Girl.
Squirrel Girl is Mila, however you say her last name, Van Trupp. Van Trupp.
Yeah, something like that.
But she played Squirrel Girl in the.
She's fan casted as Squirrel Girl.
Yeah. Well, she played her in some like radio show or like a podcast thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they have put
Lots of fan service.
a lot of fan service, and the characters themselves feel really fun to play.
I've seen Landshark memes about Landshark.
Dude, Jeff Landshark is great. He's a good character. He's a fun character, a really vital character right now.
Yeah.
The all the characters are like kind of crazy broken right now, so I'm sure that there's going to be some balancing stuff that kind of changes,
Which
the
is
game.
bound to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the core essence of the game is basically, I mean, I've been playing it with Brad a little bit, and like every time something happens,
Thanks
I'm
for
like,
the invite. It's fine.
Sorry, dude.
cool.
Do you want to? I didn't know you.
It's
wouldn't
cool.
jump
Yeah, no,
in
it's fine.
play-
You've been
play
talking about
game.
playing Call of Duty too.
I mean, yeah,
but
we do.
it's fine.
We definitely need to play Call of Duty. We
Yeah,
definitely
sure.
do.
Yeah,
They
we
just
definitely
made-
do. We definitely do.
Okay, we're going to. We don't need to. We're going to. Okay?
We'll see.
We're going. We're going.
We'll see.
Okay.
Yeah. Carry on.
The core gameplay mechanics are very, very similar to Overwatch.
Yeah.
And honestly, kind of feels like they ripped off Overwatch with it. There are characters in the game that do just straight up Overwatch stuff.
Yeah.
Like some of their alt abilities. The HUD looks like Overwatch.
Yeah.
The menu screen looks like Overwatch. So it's very. I would be honestly. I'm not a legal expert, but I kind of feel like Blizzard has a pretty decent case in saying like, "Hey man, they just reskinned our game."
If Marvel Rivals does it better, then they deserve what they get.
They're doing it better than Overwatch 2, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say Overwatch 1. Here's the other thing. It's a third-person shooter.
Right.
So that is a huge change from,
Yeah.
obviously, Overwatch is a first-person shooter.
Sure.
There are third-person aspects, like when you pop your ult, a lot of characters go into third-person, so you can kind of control the ult better
First
or whatever. Huh?
First person?
No, I'm saying
in Overwatch.
yeah,
Yes,
they go
yes,
from
yes,
first
yes,
to third.
yes. I see.
No, in Marvel
Rivals.
Rivals, I think only like Punisher, he goes into first person when you jump into his stationary gun, his like Gatling gun or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, most of them stay third person. And obviously, if you're like Spider-Man or Venom or you know Jeff the Land Shark, like you have to be able to see the character a little bit better and everything. So anyway, I don't want to get into the minute details of the game.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I'm pleasantly surprised at how well it's made so
And
far.
a big roster. I am impressed by the roster alone.
Free to play,
Yeah.
free characters, free maps. They said everything is going to remain free except for the cosmetics. So I don't know how you have.
I like it.
The thing is, it's Marvel, so I know a lot of people are just going to off-rip scoff at that. But like you said, if the product's good, the product's good. And before Marvel became this, like, titan of industry,
Monolith.
they were making just fun movies, and people would go see them and just
And
go
fun
like,
games.
Oh. And fun games.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
MVC too.
If we can kind of get back to that idea of, you know, let's just take our time with these games and make good. Like if that Insomniac Wolverine game, for instance, turns out to be, you know, as good as the Insomniac,
Better be.
yeah. then you know, I don't know. You kind of have to give credit where it's due. Yeah.
I'm not fighting it. If they make a good game, they make a good game. I'm not against that at all. And I think that the fact that the MCU has wavered in recent years has caused a fire to be lit under every other, you know, creative within Marvel in general.
Yeah.
And you know, I've seen a lot of people like, hey, why don't they just make like really good animated stuff based on
do that.
the animations alone of Rivals, like the style and
Dude, it looks really cool.
yeah, and
Looks really
you know,
cool.
like people are opening their eyes to be like, you know, DC's done this for years now. Like, why doesn't Marvel take animation as seriously as DC has for decades at this point?
Well, and you know when they do, they make cool like the Hulk Wolverine movie was cool. Planet Hulk was really cool.
Yeah,
So,
I mean
like,
there have been stuff, but they can do better and they can do more.
Definitely.
Yeah. So
And you know, you got some of these guys on retainer. Just bring them back in and be like, we need you to do the voice of this guy. They did it for the fucking What If series.
yeah. That's a good point. It's a good
Yeah.
point. Yep. They brought some people for What If.
Yeah.
But yeah, sounds good. I mean, I have already downloaded it. Like I said, I want to jump in. I've just been kind of like apprehensive to dip my toe in.
No, we'll play.
Okay.
And I'll hold your hand.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll pick a healer. I'll keep you up.
Yeah,
We'll do it.
thank you.
It'll be fun.
That's all I want.
All right.
Okay.
One last thing we got to do before we get out of here, and that is review these brewskis. So, tonight's beer was from Brasserie de Chouffe.
The Chouffe.
It is their Nice Chouffe beer, or Nice Chouffe beer. Again, if you've made it all the way to the end of the show,
We don't know. We don't know how to say that.
right? So if you know, please let us know. Also, if you're just going to go on YouTube and look up pronunciations, that doesn't help.
No,
You're
we
not,
tried.
You're not helping us. So
We tried.
we need a French person or a Belgian person or
Yeah. Someone who speaks French.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. But what'd you think, Obi?
I love this beer. I thought this was really, really, really good.
Yeah.
Let me give it one more little. I mean, it's a 5.5 for me.
Yeah.
I think it's fantastic. I think it is. It gives you those holiday vibes without indulging too much in the spices, which I appreciate. It's not overly sweet. It is strong, but it still goes down softly. It's not too boozy. It's not shaboozy.
Shabuzi.
Yeah, I really enjoy. I think the only thing that's keeping me back is like there's a little there's a little too much spice at the tail end for me.
Okay.
That kind of kicks me in the back of the throat.
See, that's what I was wondering. What stopped you from giving it a 6?
In a less pleasant way. I won't say an unpleasant way, but it's almost there. I was almost there with a 6. I'm gonna give it a 5.5, though.
Okay.
I think it is fantastic. You can go far worse when you're going for your holiday beers. Yeah, love it, love it.
I am gonna give it a 6.
Okay,
I think that kind of spice note at the back works for me.
Yeah.
Ironically enough,
Sure.
I do think that like an allspice kind of coriander kick to a winter ale or a Christmas ale.
Yeah,
Feels like what it's supposed to be.
yeah.
The Chouffe, they've got Le Chouffe. They know what they're doing.
The
when they're
Chouffe's got
making-
Le Chouffe.
The Chouffe's got Le Chouffe. So when they're making Belgian ales, strong ales, blonde ales, dark
Yeah.
ales, they know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing. Yeah.
This is a tried and true method.
Trust
right here.
in the Chouffe.
That's right. So I'm gonna give it a 6.
Okay.
6. Rounding out the end of the year with a 6 out of 6 for myself. 5.5 for you.
Now we're doing a 6. No, I only take these backsies my 5.5 because in tasting it, it does have those holiday notes. And if I'm looking for a holiday beer, a Christmas style beer, a winter style beer, if you will, you do want those toasties. And the fact that these gnomes are around a fire.
Look at them.
It makes me realize, no, that's intentional. There should be a little burn, Okay, it's a 6.
So a 6 out of 6.
We got a unanimous. We got a unanimous.
For the Nice Chouffe. You think we got it?
I know we got it.
Well, if Obi says we got it, then this episode is over. This has been the One Beer and Podcast. For myself, Marco Dupa. For Adam Obesius Rodriguez.
Buddy.
Thank you guys for listening. Drink delicious beer and have yourself a beautiful evening.
We love you. Chouffe.
Cherry farted.
Love